this is a once in several decades event that happens. But if this happens, I'll be locking myself into as much capital as I can, as much borrowed capital as I can over 50 years for 3.5% a year. And here's why. Inflation is always going to increase the prices of everything. Even if the inflation comes down to near zero, which it never happens, people are economists, specialists, economic advisors. They're very happy with 2.5% inflation rate or 2% inflation rate. That's their target. 2% is their target. So if the prices keep going up by 2%, well, let's see, over 50 years, right? 1.02 to the power of 50. Remember, if inflation is at 50%, at 2% over 50 years, then the prices nearly triple. Now, we all know that when prices triple, if you borrow $1 million, they're essentially only worth $350,000 or $400,000 in this example, right? So over time, the value of your liabilities goes down. So if I can borrow money at a very low rate for a very long time, I'm typically going to get it because I'm not going to spend it on cars or private jets. I'm going to spend it on growing a business, growing my investment portfolio. Bitcoin has historically done 50% per annum, even higher in the initial stages. Now it's coming down. It's getting closer to SPX, but eventually it's probably going to stabilize around SPX, maybe a little bit higher for a while. And if I can borrow at 3% and make 15%, 20%, 25%, I'm just going to keep doing it and keep getting richer while the value of the money that I have borrowed goes down. Why? Because things do tend to get expensive. If you have assets, if you have hard assets, they do tend to get expensive. In other words, you cannot rely on data that you're getting from someone else, even if it's official sources. Now, if you do rely on that, and if it's working out for you, great. But if it's not been working out for you very well, I suggest you stop relying on official data because it can be very, very biased, as we've seen with inflation, okay? Inflation is supposed to be 4%, 5%. But I know for a fact that people's grocery carts, even if the items within the cart did not change, have become significantly more expensive over the last few years. We're not looking at 4%, 3%, 5% inflation. We are looking at significantly higher inflation rates than the official figures. And that happens with everything. So if you just trust the official figures, well, at least form your hypotheses and then test them or validate them or invalidate them by yourself. Otherwise, you're just shooting into the dark and you have no idea what you're working with.